All right, it's week 3 on our 2026 improvement journey, and we're going to start this week with Kevin and Windows Receiving at Beasley. This one's awesome. Kevin noticed struggle. Something that bugged him was when he was scanning in purchase order paperwork on received window POs. The scan code was only on the first page, so when he scanned them in, it would read the code on the first page, but then all of the others he would have to add manually. And we have an incredible team in Chandler and Yesh and Stevie's team, and they were able to get that added to every page. Lean is the art of subtraction. No more having to add those pages manually. Makes the process easy, eliminates struggle. Way to go, Kevin. Safety improvement from Nick in the Beasley warehouse. Love that we're seeing waste in this way. Ladder leaned up against that pallet rack, nothing securing it. Now we got a bungee strap securing it so it can't fall. I love this improvement from Matt in Beasley Production. So Matt noticed waste when he was emptying this dust collector. When he went to put this sock back on the dust collector, it was a huge hassle to get it to stay on. He hook one side and try to get the other, but then the back side would fall off. He ended up having to grab a buddy to come help and hold it, and that just created a bunch of waste. So Matt found this magnetic clip in the Lean Cave. He could just easily throw it on there, clip the one side. Now no more hassle. It's a one-man job, eliminating wasted motion, transportation, waiting. Way to go, Matt. Great improvement from Francisco in Beasley Production. So Lean is about quality. We want to ensure we always have quality, safety, quality, and then speed in that order. But we want to make it super easy to ensure quality. So little jigs like this are awesome. Getting this bore in the right spot is critical. And Francisco creating just this easy jig to confirm that you've got that quality standard held. Super easy. Way to go. Big safety improvement here, and James showing us kind of the evolution of the suction cups we're using in install. So this is a basic suction cup that we used to have. It is rated to hold a lot of weight, but it was a manual process, and if something happened and got something under it and it lost suction, it just wasn't trustworthy. So they moved on to these, and these are battery powered, and they are super easy to operate, and they tell you when they've got full hold. So that's a step in the right direction. But if something happened and you're on a ladder and they start to lose suction, there's nothing that you could do. And they didn't have any automatic trigger to turn that vacuum back on and reseal if something started to happen. So we iterated again and got these battery powered automatic, have a little gauge that shows you when they're fully suctioned on there. But if they start to lose suction for any reason, that vacuum automatically kicks back on and re-adheres everything to the glass. So awesome safety improvement. I love this, guys, and I love watching the iteration of we're just getting better and better and better. Great job, James and team. Another great one from James. So something that bugged him was getting dirty boots inside the trailer, getting the trailer all muddy and dirty. So I got a boot cleaner installed just on the gate of the trailer, right there where you need it. Super easy. Keep your boots clean, keep the trailer clean. Way to go, James. One more from James and the install team. So having scaffolding with them instead of just using ladders, way easier to use in my mind. A safety improvement as well, just making the job a lot easier and not to mention faster. Way to go, install team. Jumping over to 424, Cody's showing us that they eliminated a bunch of transportation waste, not having to drive the forklift to the back of the yard in Cecil Center to get concrete. It used to be in the back of the yard in Cecil Center, right back there, all the way on the opposite end from where customers come. So if customers needed concrete, there's a ton of transportation waste as well as the waste of waiting to get them what they need, and found a spot that made way more sense up in the front warehouse. Love this, guys. Great job. Another beautiful delivery from Tez and Devante, but he pointed out something that he hasn't before, and that's part of their process where after everything's delivered, they take a picture of the paperwork that shows the address, and then they go around to the front of the house and take a picture of the front of the house, which almost always has the address spray painted somewhere, so we could ensure that yes, it got dropped at the correct location. I love this as an easy QC that gets uploaded into BizTrack, so it's easy to confirm that yes, a bunch of awesome delivery pictures of a super clean delivery, but also it was definitely the right house. Great job, Tez. Design with a bunch of great improvements this week. Here's one from Ethan. He lays out his jobs by due date. in a visual that he can see his workload, a way to ensure quality on his part. If something's getting behind, he can raise his hand before it becomes a huge problem. Love this, Ethan. Great job. Brian in design, optimizing his mouse with a bunch of hotkey functions to eliminate motion. So if you're having to move your mouse around to click certain buttons versus having them programmed in, it's just eliminating 2 seconds, right? That scroll to the right spot to click the right button on the screen versus having it right there on your mouse. Really, really cool lean improvement, Brian. I like it. Some really great knowledge sharing from JC right here, which is exactly what this is about. We want to share good ideas and those good ideas to spread and us iterate and continuously improve. So if you are a coordinator or in design or in JC's case, trust admin, you deal with a lot of PDFs, and having the PDF preview function working on that machine so you don't have to physically open every single one to make sure that you've got what you need. You can quickly preview it to confirm it's the file that you need. Really, really cool lean improvement. Definitely saves more than 2 seconds. Great job, JC. JC added again with the Stream Deck, adding some functions here. If you are on the computer for the majority of your role, if you're in design or coordinator or any kind of admin, the Stream Deck's a game changer. I get with somebody like JC or Matt Bennett or Austin Anderson or Ethan Hopgood, somebody who's using it pretty extensively, and it's amazing what they can get these things to do, and they can save so much time and hassle, so much wasted motion, eliminate a bunch of clicks. They're just a really powerful tool, and I love that JC's just continually finding ways to make his life easier by using it. Gus at Beasley, crushing it with this one. So Gus is our resident wizard for all things WMS, fixing defects constantly with things that happen inside the system. And he's started documenting what he knows so he can train other people to think like he thinks and get those things solved, or learn not to create those defects at all. Love this, Gus. Thank you. Great improvement from Colin and Alex in service and install. This is the key box for vehicles. So we have a standard here, but we can always improve. So here's the before, here's the after. Did some 3S, labeled everything so it's so much clearer, puts the answer where the question is. You open the box, you know immediately which keys to grab. Great improvement, Alex and Colin. Some 3S over in the Murfreesboro yard. This is one of the banding areas. This looks pretty good, but this looks better, right? You don't want to have too much of something. They had more crossouts than they could need. It consolidated everything so you don't have any transportation walking back and forth to the dumpster, etc. Great 3S, guys. Our dust mitigation journey continues at the plant. So at the chop saws, building these boxes and then adding this like freezer curtain to keep dust from coming back at you. Lots of amazing ideas just continue on our dust mitigation journey at the plant. You guys are doing an awesome job. Luis with a great improvement at the mango saw. So one of the things about being able to hold a standard is making that standard easy. And he noticed collecting the short drops that could easily be used when we have short angle cuts that get cut on the mango. There wasn't a standard spot for those short blocks. It was too easy for those blocks to get tossed in the dumpster, but he made this shelf to collect those blocks so they don't end up in the dumpster. We can reuse them, get that waste back into a product. Again, making the standard easy. Great job, Louise. Daniel and Jason on night shift at the plant with a awesome improvement, putting the answer where the question is. So the doors in the winter, you want them closed, but they need to open when forklift traffic need to come grab a bundle or deliver some material. And which door do you open? So they've now labeled every single one of the doors. They've labeled the door opener so that you know which button to click. Super easy. And that sign even hangs down when the door is open, so the forklift driver has the answer where the question is, am I at the right door? It's door number 3. Yes, I am. Great job, guys. Great standardization improvement in floors. So the saws for trusses, they cut these standard blocks with the drops coming off the saws so we don't waste any material. Now we've got a cart that's labeled where those blocks go. Great standard, guys. Jose helping some of the less experienced team members on his team in stairs by putting the answer where the question is. No more having to find somebody and ask, labeling all of the material so there's no question of what it is. Again, we want to put the answer where the question is so it's easy. We don't have defects where we're grabbing the wrong material. Jose, great job. JC rounding us out with something that is really, really cool that I had no idea existed, creating virtual desktops inside your machine. So if you're dealing with lots of programs, like you've got 3 screens and that's still not enough, rather than just adding screens, depending on the discipline that you're currently working in, so the different programs, the functions that you're working in, you can create virtual desktops that then you can toggle between depending on what you're working on. So instead of having to minimize a program and pull up another one or add a 4th or 5th screen, you can create virtual desktops depending on what you're doing at that time. Really, really cool function that I didn't know existed. Definitely has improvement opportunities for lots of different roles at Husky. JC, thank you for sharing. Oh, and I almost forgot Albert posting cleaning standards. So, how can we expect anybody to do something to standard if the standard isn't clear? So, Albert posting what those cleaning standards are for different stations, again, to make the expectation clear and we can keep the rope tight and hold that standard. Awesome job, Albert. We can get this in Gemba docs now. We can add pictures. We can do all kinds of things to make it easier to hold the standard. But great job, Albert, for getting these posted. And we'll end with that. How do we make it easy for standards to be held? We do that with clarity. We do that with training to the standard. When a standard's improved, we train to it. We give people opportunities to poke holes in it and improve it further. And we all grow as a team. You guys are absolutely doing that. Awesome improvements this week. Thank you.